Koenen. It's quite likely that at some point in our lives, almost all of us have seen part of a soccer game. If we haven't seen one, we've probably heard about one, or at least generally know what the sport entails. Most of us probably know that the game of soccer involves kicking a ball and trying to score more goals than the other team. However, how many of us actually know the history of the game of soccer and how it has evolved into the game it is today that so many enjoy playing and watching? According to the article, History of Football, The Origins, published by the Federation of International Football Association, also called FIFA, the exact origin of soccer is unclear. However, the earliest form of the game dates back to the 2nd and 3rd century BC in China during the reign of the Han Dynasty. It was recorded that military soldiers attempted to kick a leather ball filled with hair and fur through it into a small net. The article, History of Soccer, published by historyofsoccer.info, also notes that recordings of the game were also found in China, as well as Greece, Rome, and Kyoto, Japan. Eventually, the game of soccer found its way into Europe, specifically England, where in 1815, the first sets of rules were developed for soccer. These rules resembled a cross between the sports today known as soccer and rugby. According to FIFA, the rules were loose and allowed rough play, such as kicking in the shins, biting, and tackling, which oftentimes resulted in violence and injuries. Players were also allowed to use their hands and carry the ball. Games were oftentimes regarded as highly uncivilized and highly unorganized. Players often did not have set positions. It wasn't until 1863 that a new set of rules for soccer were developed, splitting the games of rugby and soccer. These were called the Cambridge Rules, which more closely resemble the rules by which we play modern-day soccer, according to Cambridgeshire Football Association, which is affiliated with FIFA. Today, soccer has a very specific set of guidelines, and there are even detailed formations that many teams choose to follow. I will be using this template of a soccer field as a reference to help you visualize some of the important rules. First off, it is important to understand that each team plays with 11 players. According to Upper Dublin Soccer Club, a prestigious soccer club in Ireland, there are 17 basic rules to the game of soccer, and I will be going over a few of them. The goalie guards the box inside, and their main job is to protect the net and prevent the other team from scoring. The goalie is the only player that is allowed to use their hands, and they can only use their hands inside the 18-yard box, which is right here. When a field player touches the ball with their hands, the other team is awarded a free kick in which they place the ball and get to kick it anywhere on the field they wish. The only time a field player is allowed to pick up the ball with their hands is when the ball is kicked out of bounds on one of these lines. They pick it up and attempt a throw-in to one of their teammates. During a throw-in, the player must use both hands and place it directly over their head and snap the ball to throw it in. Today, unlike the rules of the 1800s, there are also rules intended to keep players safe. Players must wear shin guards, which protect the shin from injury and accidental kicks. Modern-day rules also prohibit rough play. For example, kicking, tripping, hitting, tackling, or charging another player would break this rule. If a referee believes a player is intentionally trying to harm another player, they may be issued a yellow card or a red card. A yellow card represents dangerous play and warns players to play more safely. A red card represents severely dangerous play and results in the player being ejected from the game for safety reasons. Both teams must abide by these rules while keeping in mind the main objective, scoring goals. Now, teams must figure out a strategy to maximize their goal-scoring opportunities while still abiding by the rules of the game. Many teams choose to organize their players by assigning them certain positions within a formation. There are many formations known to soccer. However, there are a few formations that are more popular than others. According to the article, Analyzing the Most Popular World Football Formations, written by Sam Tighe, a World Football Tactics leader for BleacherReport.com, the three most common formations are the 4-3-3, the 4-5-1, and the 4-4-2. There are variations of these three formations, but I will just go over the basics of these three. The 4-3-3 formation means there are 4 defenders, which play on the defensive half of the field. There are 3 midfielders, which play more centrally, and there are 3 forwards, which play in the offensive half of the field. The defensive formation is the same for both the 4-5-1 and the 4-4-2, with 4 defenders. The variation in these formations comes in the midfield. The 4-5-1 has 5 midfielders and only 1 forward, while the 4-4-2 has 4 midfielders and only 2 forwards. While they are slightly different, the defensive, midfield, and forward positions all have similar responsibilities in all of the formations. The defensive's job is to prevent the other team from taking shots on goal and scoring. Some of the mids will oftentimes play defensively as well. Once the ball is won on the defensive half, the ball is transitioned through the midfield, where the midfielders try to maintain possession of the ball while looking for passing lanes to pass to the forwards. Once the forwards get the ball, their main objective is to shoot and score on the other team's goalies, or at least maintain possession if a shot cannot be taken. Ultimately, formations like these are intended to maximize a team's scoring opportunities while placing players in positions which showcase their individual talents. Beginning from a more aggressive and violent game, over the years, soccer has developed into an organized, skillful, and tactful game. Although the origin of soccer is unknown, the similar games known to Chinese, Japanese, Roman, and Greek cultures have spread and influenced across the world. From the days in which games were unorganized with no rules to the present day, where there are highly specific rules and safety standards, the overall evolution of the game is astounding.